Just like to start with head coach Susie Gardner giving an opening statement on the team and the upcoming season.
Well, we've been practicing for a long time. You know, women's basketball allows us to start the season rather early. We started on October the 4th and had a great fall break where we could go 2-a-days for at length. So we've gotten a lot of things accomplished. It's exciting to have Kendra back healthy playing. Tabitha is no longer a freshman, and she's a new woman. And so it's our program's growing. We're still building. We're not there yet, but we are taking steps in the right direction.
For questions, if you guys want to ask away.
Coach, can you talk about this year's team, it being one of your more veteran teams that you've had in your 3 years? What is that going to do for your squad?
Well, the first 2 years I had one senior my first year, and we had no seniors last year. So it's somewhat difficult to have a foundation when you have such youth on your team. You know, but it's not so much seniors. I don't get all caught up in the senior class. You know, I get caught up in for example, Tabitha and our large freshman class are now sophomores. Practices are going so much more smoother. We can get through a drill much more quickly. We only have 2 new players on the team, and so I have a majority of the people that can run a drill versus our coaches running the drill, and then Kate and Jessica can watch, and then they can jump in there. So practices, you know, you can feel the flow of practice being a lot better. You know, I also think that some of these guys, come game time, they will have been in close game situations. They understand, you know, little things like media timeouts, understanding that at every 4 minutes you go to the bench for a timeout, little things that they just didn't get last year. So that's refreshing, and we've had a great preseason. We've worked exceptionally hard. Our coaching staff, I think, is more comfortable with what we were going to do. In all honesty, you know, with Brianna getting hurt, we had a game plan in place as a coaching staff, and that had to become tweaked right quickly overnight. But I think we're heading in the right direction with that.
Coach, does it turn into more of a defensive team after losing your leading scorer?
Well, you know what? We were going to focus on defense anyway. We were going to teach Brianna how to play defense anyway, but we were going to focus on that. You know, we've changed some things that we're doing defensively. Some things I wanted to bring here. Initially, we just didn't have the right personnel, so we're doing it now. You know, we have to be creative in finding ways to score. I think last year, I think a lot of people would stand and just watch Brianna. Obviously, time and score situations, the plays were always run for her. Everyone in the gym knew it was for her. You know, and so it's kind of fun to watch. You know, these 2 guys right here, they can score. We're just having to be creative. We're going to try to do things like get to the free throw line more. You know, draw fouls, get to the line, which we were very poor at that last year. We were last in the league at getting to the free throw line. We only got there 14 times. You know, also transition. You know, getting out in transition, getting fast break opportunities, pushing the ball. You know, having our post players maybe rebound and dribble out. So, you know, it's been kind of interesting, but it's also been fun to watch other people that can score, and it's not going to be obvious game in and game out who's going to lead the team in scoring. Are you filming me or taking still shots? Okay, it's fancy.
I have a question. There were a lot of games last year that you guys lost very narrowly. What is going to be the difference between last year's team and this year's team in closing out those games?
Well, I think that only comes with experience. You know, you really can't, you know, you can try to simulate time and score situations in practice. You can put, you know, 6 seconds on the clock and draw up a play and try to run the play. And you can do that all you want, but you can't really simulate a game situation. So hopefully just the experience of it, of having that in the past, and you know, hopefully we can come out on the correct end of those this year. You know, I have to be, again, creative in terms of what offenses or what out-of-bounds plays, those types of things we're going to do to come out and win, because ultimately I think close games come down to perhaps sometimes the coach's call in the game. You know, do they make the right offensive call? But also you got to have people that if you drop a great play, you got to have people that can knock that shot down too. So, you know, hopefully maturation and not being so young will help us.
Kendra, you were getting a lot of playing time a couple years ago. How difficult was it to sit out all of last year?
It was very difficult. I mean, going from being able to play out there and then just sitting on the sidelines watching and not being able to do anything about it. But I'm ready now to get back out there and pick up where I left off.
Are you 100%?
I would like to say I'm about as 100% as it gets.
Kendra, talk about what an opportunity it is for you to come back on the floor. You had to sit out and watch your team play Notre Dame last year, play Georgia. Talk about how excited you are to get back out there and leave your mark on your Mercer career.
Oh, I'm very excited. I put a lot of work in for rehab so I can be able to start on the first day of preseason conditioning and the first day of practice. So I'm just excited to get back out there and play in front of the hometown again. And
Do you think sitting out and watching your team play as opposed to getting out on the floor, did you take away anything from that? Maybe sitting on the side kind of like an assistant coach watching your team play?
Well, you definitely get a different perspective of the game. You get a chance to learn the game in a different way. Think about like what you would do in that situation if you were out there. So I think it helped me a little bit as far as mentally developing sitting out. But now I'm ready to get out there physically.
Tabitha, Coach talked about earlier, you're not a freshman anymore. Has the game kind of slowed down for you now that you're a sophomore, and hopefully your role will probably be expanded more this year as you're getting mature and a starting lineup and with Brianna being out now?
Yes, I could say the game slowed down a lot. Like when we first walked in here, everything was so fast and like it was hard to like even focus when we first got out on the floor. But I think having a year under our belts, that maturity level that is really going to help us this year.
Talk a little bit more about that. Have you kind of put your arm around some of the newcomers and helped with their transition? You were just in that situation a year ago.
Yeah, it's easier for us to relate because we was just there like last year. So like with the freshman girls, like Jessica, like it's easy for me to talk to her about like how she's feeling throughout the day. Like maybe she's down about, I didn't get this drill or something like that. I was like, it's okay, you're going to get it because we all got it. We all went through it. So just to be there to comfort her and just let her know that it's going to work out, that it's going to happen for her. It just takes time.
Coach, have you seen that as well? Do you think this team's a little more further along at this point than they were last year based on, the experience coming back?
Without question, we had 6 freshmen last year. I mean, I think this time last year, we were still learning how to do 2 lines layups correctly, So without question, we have gone a little bit quicker. We're not drilling so much as we are doing 5-on-5 type things. I think that with our philosophy, we have to do more whole method versus just breaking it down. And when we're trying to run in transition, you have to run everything. You do a drill and then you have to run it to the other end of the floor to get used to that aspect of closing in transition. So it's been a lot more fun as a coach to have sophomores and only 1 freshman versus 6 freshmen, without question.
How much of an impact or how much playing time do you expect your 2 newcomers to give?
It's kind of hard to speculate that. I think initially when we were doing individual workouts, we had a thought in our head. I do think both players bring something unique to our program that we did not have last year. Kate is a 6'3" international player, so she's a little finesse. She has 3-point range, which is exciting for me to have a post that can face up. She's very skilled. She has, the European rip-through moves, which are a little bit difficult to defend. Very bright player, very smart on the floor. So she's really fun to coach because she wants to learn and she knows what we're talking about. Jessica, our lone freshman, you can kind of tell she's a freshman. She's a little bit more nervous in practice, but what she's done lately is knock down 3-point shots. And I think I can see her confidence level rising, and I think that's what she's going to give us because, quite honestly, we lacked that last year. We didn't have that pure shooter type deal, and I think Jessica can do that. She, too, is a very bright player. She learns the game. She wants to be perfect. She has that perfectionist syndrome, but at the same time, those types of players excel because of their their desire to be great. So I do think they will play. I'm not sure. I think by January they'll play significant minutes.
Coach, go back to the defensive aspect again. I know some of your frustrations in your earlier couple of seasons was not taking a charge, a key defensive rebound. And obviously to play good defense, it's a mindset. You've got to want to do it. Do you sense this team has bought into that to provide that extra effort to play defense?
You know, ask these two guys that question. That'd be a
Okay,
good
well, I'm
question.
asking all three, sure.
Let them go first. I'll
Sure.
sit back and listen on that one.
Okay.
Go ahead, Tab. What you think?
Well, I feel like we're all we're taking the time out to actually try to do this type of stuff, like taking charges in practice, because we like tally up like our totals for like taking charges and getting steals and like getting out on fast breaks and stuff every practice. So like that's a goal for us to do like every day. So like we're working on it every day in practice so that we'll be able to like I don't know how to say it, translate it transition on during the games and stuff like that.
Well, I guess to piggyback on what Tabitha was saying, we do tend to focus on getting key rebounds, diving on the floor for loose balls, taking charges. So doing that in practice every day is going to show in the games this season. So.
Well, we've talked about it. I mean, till we're blue in the face, and they've heard it. But basically, we have enough players now that if you're not going to step up and take a charge, if you're not going to dive on the floor, you're not going to play. You know, and everybody wants to play. And I think in the past, I haven't had that luxury to. I could say it, but really, sometimes you have to play people anyway. So we're going to hold true to that. You know, and if you miss a chance to dive on the floor, we as coaches, we make a big deal anytime somebody does it because it's so new and foreign to this program. But you know, I think the more you emphasize things, the less you tolerate not doing things, the more it's going to come into play, and that is happening. We're seeing people that have taken a charge for the first time in their basketball lives, you know, and living to tell about it. So I think that it's something that we have emphasized, but you know, we'll see come game time if it really happens. But I think they're catching on, and we got them all knee pads if they want it. So dive on the floor, those types of things. There's going to be no excuse not to dive on the floor after loose ball.
Coach, you talked about your coaching staff a little bit. Talk about the measure of consistency you have coming back with Angie, Rhett, and Tiffany here for another full year.
Well, you know, I've been a lot of places. I've coached in the SEC. I've been on a lot of different staffs, but I will say without hesitation, this is the best coaching staff I've ever been a part of. They're loyal. They believe in what we're doing. We've all been together. Angie joined us mid last year, but Rhett and Swalford have been together for at least 2.5 years, and they've been tough 2.5 years. They haven't been easy, but we have kept our nose to the grindstone, and we're working hard. We're trying to develop our players, you know, on and off the floor, but also develop them as individual players, and then bringing this thing together. We're together a lot. It's an amazing staff, and you know, I think that's what makes this trip a little bit easier, is that we know that we can get it done. You know, we're just waiting for it to happen. We have to, you know, help each other out through tough days sometimes, but I think at the end of the day, it's not just us in that office. I think our players believe in the coaching staff, and that's the most important thing, is that these guys got to understand that we believe in what they're doing. We're going to fight for them. We're going to push them as hard as they can go, and they've just got to believe that this thing is going to happen. You know, they just got to keep believing in it, and just like the guy that hits the rock on the 100th time, that rock finally cracks, and that maybe is what's going to happen here at Mercer. So it's an amazing staff, and I believe in them, and they believe in what we're doing, and could not do it without them, without question.
Kendra, talk about the new video scoreboard that's going in. I've heard a little bit about it. Are you excited? I mean, you've been here kind of for the long haul, so does it show you where Mercer's going, and what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm excited about the new scoreboard. I haven't really heard like details about it, but I can't wait to see it up before the games.
Coach, is it going to help, you think, from a recruiting aspect, or you know, what are your thoughts on, you know, the additions that have been made here?
Well, I think that anytime you have recruits, and I have to think about it from a recruiting perspective, I think, you know, they already are impressed with our facility. And anytime you get players nowadays, you go to any event, football, NBA. I mean, the video scoreboard is the thing. Whether it's pre-game introductions, I'm in a huddle sometimes, and we're in another arena. They're looking up at the scoreboard instead of listening to me at introductions. So maybe that'll happen to our opponent as well. But I think it just shows that the athletic department, the pursuit of excellence that we have here, and doing everything first class, and having people in the community that believe in our programs here at Mercer, and just allowing us to do over and above things. We could survive with a normal little scoreboard that gives us the minutes and the score, but to have over and above, I think it's going to make the environment a lot more exciting. Media timeouts, that type of thing. So I haven't talked about it too much with these guys, but we're excited. I just walked in there a while ago to look at the progress of what's going on. So it's going to be fun.
Any other questions, guys?
Well, I've got one more. Kendra, habit to the fact the conference tournament's here one more year. You guys have got to have a tremendous hunger to want to make that tournament before it goes to another location. Tell us about how much you want to be in that tournament.
Oh, yes, we want it real bad because just to be able to play in the tournament here at home, and then like all our fans and everybody from the school can come and be a part of this experience with us would be an awesome thing for us.
Yeah, we definitely have to have a sense of urgency coming back. Last year, I'm excited to be back to play. I'm excited to send the home gym again. So we want to make it there first, and then we want to handle business when we get there. So it's exciting.